For Donald Trump, the Oval Office was kind of like base from, criminal fraud tag, right? As long as he was on base, he was safe. No one could touch him. Well, now he's no longer on base. He got voted off of base. And therefore, 2 attorneys are chasing him and they're catching up. They're getting very, very close to official charges or an indictment, possibly a criminal indictment. So just yesterday, Cy Vance, Manhattan's district attorney, convened a grand jury that is expected to decide whether to indict former President Donald Trump, other executives at his company, or the business itself, should prosecutors present the panel with criminal charges, according to 2 people familiar with the development. So this development signals that the Manhattan District Attorney's Office was moving forward, seeking charges as a result of this 2-year investigation, which, as you all remember, included a lengthy legal battle to obtain Trump's tax records, which was successful, ergo $750. You guys, I'm sure a lot of us just did our taxes. If you didn't, respect, a little bit of respect, but $750, oh my God. All right, so just more about this grand jury. The panel was convened recently and will sit 3 days a week for 6 months. It's likely to hear several matters, not just the Trump case during its term, which is longer than a traditional New York State grand jury assignment. And then, of course, you gotta hear both sides. Let the man speak. It wasn't on Twitter, but the former president, Donald Trump, in a statement Tuesday evening, said the seating of the grand jury is a continuation of the greatest witch hunt in American history. Really? More than Salem? Okay, this is purely political and an affront to the almost 75 million voters who supported me in the presidential election, and it's being driven by a highly partisan Democrat prosecutors. Trump said, "Our country is broken, our elections are rigged, corrupt, and stolen. Our prosecutors are politicized, and I will have to keep on fighting like I have been for the last 5 years."
Well, he's definitely gonna do some serious fight now, because as you said, he's no longer on second base. He tried stealing again, didn't make it this time. So this time the umpires are on to him. I love the analogy. So if you haven't figured it out yet, I love the analogy. But so this is where we stand now. So Donald Trump is now, well, first off, the reason why he was so hardcore and wanted to make sure he gets reelected is because the cover for his immunity has been lifted. Now they're digging into his tax records, which we were asking for the entire time he was running for president and was president. And it was a continuation of, oh yeah, they keep auditing me. It's not really a big deal. Who really does that anyway? Everyone does that in modern presidential history. So he bypassed all those things, and we've gotten to the point now where he no longer has that cover, and that's when the criminals start squealing more and more and screaming out to the ether, "This is more of a witch hunt." Again, there's aspects of his statement here that have been it's repetition. It's to the point now, you don't have to, nobody reads his blog that much anyway. You don't have to follow everything he says to realize that he's saying the same thing. He went through the Russia line, another witch hunt. I've never had to endure as much as any other president. I could have told you all these things without reading that statement, by the way, because it's the same statement. And then pointing out that 75 million Americans voted for me. And I'm gonna have to continue fighting. That's all it is. You have to make sure you galvanize your supporters behind whatever it is you're saying. And then no matter what the case is, ignore what you're hearing from facts. Listen to me tell you, you voted for me, so therefore you can't listen to anything else. And again, I don't know why it continues to work. I have no idea why it keeps working.
Yeah, absolutely. What's interesting about these 2 cases, and especially Cy Vance's case, which could be a criminal case, is that none of this, and remember folks, none of this has to do with anything he did during his time in office. This is all before. This guy could have just had a normal crime life, just a normal white collar crime yacht life. And he had to run for president. He just had to. And now, guess what? He's come under the microscope and he's under scrutiny. So again, the idea that he's being targeted, it's so unfair. He's never been treated as unfairly. Look, we haven't even gotten to the things, and we may never get to the things that he did while in office, right? Profiting off of his position, Ivanka's brands getting a leg up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is all stuff from before. So just to recap, right? There are 2 cases against him. One from Attorney General in New York, Letitia James. That's a civil case. And then this is the Manhattan DA, Cy Vance's potential criminal case. Trump is facing 2 investigations of his practices in New York. Both appear to have begun with the same man, Michael Cohen, the fixer, Trump's longtime lawyer and attack dog, who turned on Trump after pleading guilty to making hush money payments on Trump's behalf and lying to Congress. Vance's criminal investigation began in 2018 after Cohen pleaded guilty to charges stemming from the hush money payoffs made in the last days of the 2016 campaign to women who said they had affairs with Trump years earlier. Allegations the former president denies. Vance's investigation soon expanded as the district attorney sought to examine millions of pages of Trump's tax returns. Millions of pages. Obviously, you guys might have heard the news that Alan Weisselberg, who is Trump's longtime finance chief, has sort of been one of the main players in this. And his former daughter-in-law, Jen Weisselberg, has been cooperating with both inquiries. She's given investigators reams of tax records and other documents as they look into whether some Trump employees were given off the books compensation, such as apartments or tuition. I believe she's on record saying, yes, my child's tuition was paid for by Donald Trump. Like what? That's bold. You know, I feel like after the college tuition scandal, you know, like any other college scandal is like peanuts. Like, oh yeah, so Trump paid for my college tuition, whatever. At least I didn't, lie to get an SAT score.
Well, yeah, and now we're ready to see whether or not, this is what I heard this morning, because when we hear things about grand jury, people wanna a lot of times go, oh man, it's over, open and shut, that's it. And it's a little tough. And that's always my first assumption, but again, I'm not an attorney, so I don't have a clear-cut reasoning why. So I go and ask and look for other folks saying it. Now, the Weisselberg link is the thing, because he can always play dumb. He always had someone do the last step for him. He had this infrastructure in place to do all the cheating and the fraud and the tax evasion, all those things that he basically admitted he had done before. Yeah. You'd be an idiot not to do what I did. I'm paraphrasing his words on that.
No, yeah, pretty much.
You need someone who actually had the brains to carry out the last actions business-wise, and that was Weisselberg. So there's always that one link left of someone he needs to continue to take the fall for him, or else he's gonna finally be on the hook. There's enough ambiguity around what he definitely 100% knew versus what he carried out with the organization. So he could still go, yeah, it's called Trump Organization, but I didn't really run it. I mean, just my name on it. And Weisselberg is the bad guy. So now we pitted the last 2 criminals in the room together, and whether or not who's gonna burn the last of the drugs or flush it down the toilet, and which one's gonna swallow it and get caught pooping it out in jail. So we're at that point now of the criminals are now ready to turn on each other. And again, his former daughter-in-law, Weisselberg's, said it quickly. I think she was on CNN. Oh, he'll flip. Yeah. That's not who wants to go to prison.
Absolutely, especially not for this guy who will so quickly throw you under the bus as he has with pretty much everyone, including kind of the big one, which was his fixer, Michael Cohen.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.